This is the Mario Cuomo Bridge, an analysis of the project of this bridge. This is the biggest infrastructure project in the United States. I would say it's a successful project, and the governor Andrew Cuomo was the governor at the time. He named the bridge Mario Cuomo Bridge, his father. There was another bridge here, it was called Tapanzi Bridge. Another controversy was actually, should they destroy the bridge or fix the old bridge? The bridge is from 1955. They decided then to demolish the bridge, build a new one. The project was a project that was budgeted $3.1 billion. It ended up costing $4 billion. The schedule was supposed, it started 2013. It was supposed to, the cars were supposed to start using the bridge in June 2018, and it was a little delayed to September the same year. President Obama came here and he used the bridge as background to talk about vision. And vision is one of the parts that I'm actually analyzing, because a vision of a project is not basically building a bridge. It means more. It means infrastructure. It means bringing more business, political sometimes.
Alongside all of you, to make sure that we're doing everything we can to rebuild America, not just rebuild one bridge, but I want us to rebuild every bridge. I don't want us to just rebuild one school. I want us to rebuild every school that needs help. I want us to, most of all, most importantly, rebuild an economy where hard work is valued and responsibility is respected and rewarded, and where opportunity is available not just to some, but to every single hard-working American.
It's a very important link from Tarrytown to Nyack. I think 140,000 cars. There are 4 lanes. There is a bus lane. There are lanes for bikes. The project needed meticulous planning and harmonization among many parties, encompassing governmental entities, community organizations, and private contractors. The project team created a detailed plan that delineated the project objectives, extent, and schedule. Vision was also discussed in the readings, and it's an interesting concept because it addresses the issue of constructing a bridge, but it demonstrates a vision for a transformation. It's not only bridge and transportation. It offers a clear path for the project and establishes alignment with stakeholders and interests. And it talks about, there is one good example that I'm going to show, which is President Obama made a speech just with the bridge in the background, and he exemplifies this concept in a very clear way, in which he basically discusses the reconstruction of America's infrastructure as a method for generating employment and stimulating the economy. Engaging with stakeholders is also another important part. There are no public projects without engagement with stakeholders. In this particular plan, some examples, several parties expressed dissatisfaction with the project, lack of transparency on the expenses, decision-making. There were problems with the project. Stakeholders complained about failure to evaluate potential hazards and to be clear about delays. For example, politicians complained about the name of the bridge that was, the name of the father of Governor Cuomo. Some people who lived in the neighborhood, they were concerned about, the lack of privacy that they were going to have with the bridge just standing up exactly where they live. So there were complaints about stakeholders. Efficient and clear exchange of information. There were some challenges. The communication with stakeholders was neglected. There was an accident, for example, in which a woman was killed, and there was a lot of controversy about, the explanation of what exactly happened. However, there were several channels implemented. There was consultation with stakeholders. There were advocates that wanted a park on the old bridge, for example, but the cost would be, there was an office in which stakeholders could, and the community could come and ask questions about the bridge. The scope of the project ensured long-term vitality of the crossing, robust and redundant structure that would survive natural and man-made events, a lifespan that exceeds 100 years before it needs maintenance, significant maintenance. It provided 12-foot traffic lanes and adequate eastbound and westbound traffic separation, security infrastructure. There are lanes for bicycles, there are lanes for buses, and the emergency response was also improved in this project. Bidding. There were 3 proposals submitted. There was not a lot of transparency in disclosing the bidders and who they were, but a committee endorsed a cost-effective 3.1 billion 5-year project. Transparency. There were some corruption issues related to the design build procurement process of the Tappan Zee Bridge project. There was a separate procurement integrity monitor that was established. The governor's office and the New York State Thruway Authority collaborated to address contradiction arising from the need for both inconsistency and transparency. Confidentially, they ensured that confidentially was essential for both, and they assessed ideas and engaged with individuals who submitted them. On the other hand, transparency and precision in decision-making process regarding allocating public expenditures. Tappan Zee project fostered an inclusive and cooperative environment, allowing for significant engagement from both public and many agencies throughout its participation. Investigation conducted by New York Attorney's General Office into the unforeseen fracturing of small number of bolts. The purpose of the investigation was to ascertain the cause of the fractures and determine whether the contractor overseeing the project attempted to conceal the problem. In March 2022, a federal review concluded that the bridge had no safety issues. Conclusion. The project includes the key concepts of the reference readings. To name a few: budget, scheduling, communication, engagement with stakeholders, transparency, change order, and it is a very good example of vision. It is important to mention that there were issues with the above mentioned, and they can be seen as lessons learned.